As part of our example, our online retail business is running on Amazon, and all of a sudden, Tetration reports an overall lower score going from A to B+. It seems our forensics score has something to do with it. We can immediately see that our monitor Amazon environment has a lower score due to the 172.31.385 endpoint. With Tetration, we can drill down into the command sequence that was run inside the operating system itself. In this case, we can see that the wget command, which is commonly used to download stuff, was started from Tomcat, which is a bit suspicious. And if we drill down a bit more, we can even see the IP address where this software called Minitools was downloaded from. This may seem a bit strange, but it is a common exploit called remote code execution. Basically, a user is sending commands through a browser just as if he had full administrative privileges by sending such commands within an HTTP put. In this case, he downloaded what it seems to be a Trojan horse called Minitools to the Amazon hosted instance so that he can backdoor to it. Quite a vulnerability, right? Well, this has happened several times on cloud-based environments like Amazon, since the instance security is not Amazon's responsibility, but yours. You, as an user, still need to patch and secure those environments as well. Okay, we figured there's something wrong since we have process-level visibility with Tetration. Now, we may want to double-check all communications that are happening to and from this Trojan horse called Minitools. Since Tetration provides us with a historical view of all flows, we could filter them out from millions of flows fairly easily. That way, we can confirm not only the destination address, but also the port. And since we want to make sure that this is unwanted communication, we can now perform a what-if analysis, which will compare this flow against our policy baseline from the initial application dependency mapping. We have now confirmed this communication should be denied. So, what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead and turn every sensor into an enforcement agent so that we can block such attack. After a single click, it is done. If enforcement had been enabled since the very beginning, we could have prevented this from happening in the first place. This is true microsegmentation anywhere and totally hardware, hypervisor, and cloud agnostic. But there may be times where you can simply install an enforcement agent, and this is where the layer defense approach plays a huge role. First, in terms of policy. Second, in terms of vulnerability detection. And last, in terms of end-to-end encryption. Therefore, our second layer of consistent protection at the network level is critical, and ACI can become a great asset for this purpose, not only by providing consistent policies anywhere, but also enabling dynamic segmentation through microsegmented EPGs, and even single-click encryption with multi-site orchestrator. Let's first imagine that all of a sudden you are notified of a new vulnerability potentially affecting all CentOS-based systems. We may not have Tetration agents everywhere, and we need to isolate those VMs and servers as soon as possible. Right now, the CentOS-based system has connectivity to my data center network, as you can see. However, I can add a microsegmented EPG to my centralized network configuration on ACI, making it look for endpoints with specific attributes such as name, operating system, FQDN, and many more, in order to assign them automatically to this group. In our example, we will dynamically add CentOS-based systems to this quarantine EPG. Once created, I just need to tell ACI where to look for such attributes. In this case, this VM is running on VMware, so I will ask ACI to go and look there. The moment I do it, all communication is stopped, since ACI dynamically assigned this VM to the microsegmented EPG. Once the thread is gone, I can simply delete the microsegmented EPG and everything goes back to the original network configuration, restoring network connectivity. If you're using ACI and multi-site orchestrator as your central point of management for multiple sites, you can enable line rate CloudSec encryption with a single click, making your communication secure at the policy and payload level anywhere. Now, if we move to the last layer of defense, you may want your layer 4, layer 7 devices, like your firewall, to be consistent in terms of policy as well. Remember that ACI can integrate such devices as part of an automated and centrally defined policy and even redirect traffic that may need stateful inspection selectively through policy-based redirection, which avoids having bottlenecks at the firewall level. With all this, now we have the same policy defined by Tetration application dependency mapping enforced consistently at the workload, network, and layer 4, layer 7 device layer anywhere. However, the big question is there a way to normalize Tetration generated policies all across my network and devices so that I don't need to manually configure it? And this is where our partnership with AlgoSec may be useful, since it can ingest Tetration's ADM information and then enforce the same policy consistently everywhere, from an iOS device in the campus all the way to the firewall level and even third-party environments. This makes it a great tool to provide automated and consistent policies in a multi-vendor and multi-cloud environment. Last, vulnerabilities may not only happen at the workload level, since there are bugs, pcerts, and potential threats everywhere, including at the network and server level. Just as we covered last chapter with network insights at the network level, with Intersight, you also have the same proactive advisory method for any related vulnerabilities within your UCS servers, enabling you to react faster and adding to the information provided by Tetration at the workload level. With this in mind, and bringing SecureX to the overall picture, you can definitely minimize risk and threats as they emerge way more effectively. Now, if we go back where we started, we're going to be provisioning new apps and services with a single click through Cloud Center, right? Well, also with Cloud Center, we can automate the installation for Tetration and AppDynamics agents with a single click, making every new application or instance deployed on any cloud both protected and monitored as it gets created. This is not it. There are multiple additional security features that you could integrate as part of your overall multi-cloud security strategy, including HyperFlex encryption for data at rest, SAN security running on MDS fiber channel switches, and many more. With that being said, data center security and its policies should be extended to other domains like the campus and the WAN consistently. And that is exactly what we will talk about in the last section of this session.